I think because they see interior design not much of a necessity, and there are other like design related professions that overboard interior design. So like architecture, they do also interior design. But then for me, I don't see that it's becoming less or less and less. It's actually becoming more popular nowadays because I have met a lot of younger generations who are into arts and they're very familiar now with interior design compared to my generation before and the older generations. Because I think right now there's a lot of institutions offering a diverse specializations in terms of interior design, and I think Filipinos are now more open to studying and exploring design abroad and bringing it back here in the Philippines. Just like what I did when I had my master's in Milan. And the reason when I went back here because I want to apply what I have learned in terms of how they do design process abroad. Because of course, as a Filipino, we really want to uplift and to be more competitive globally, right? So I saw the gap between how we design and the strength of efficiency as Asians versus their design process. So I really want to merge that. So in line with that, a lot of younger generations, and because of like media, social media, right, they are more aware of the I don't want to say like the just the fancy of being an interior designer, but they're more aware of sorry, it's my phone. No, sorry. So they are more aware of how the profession works. So I think it's not becoming lesser. I think more of the practice. I think that's what Paulo was saying because a lot of interior designers they graduate, with that course, but they don't practice it.
Because
Well, number one, it requires a good grade will land you a good job, but for you to really go all the way up, it requires the goal. Number one, you really have to have that dream, what you really want in terms of design. It's not just about the skill set because skill set can be learned, but I think if what you really want, your goal, your dream, your grit. So I think that's one thing that in terms of designers nowadays are being filtered because some are just already um, they give up on innovating more because as a designer you cannot do the same design over and over again. You need to explore, you need to innovate. So just like for me, as I started my furniture design, I really do the impossible, like integrating egret weave and bending woods and something like that. So I think as a designer, as you go along your years of designing, that's the challenge, and a lot of designers give up on that challenge, and they'd rather venture into other businesses. So I think that's what our president is mentioning about. That's why it's the profession. The ones that are really practicing design becomes fewer as the years goes by. Yeah. I think it's more of the creative, really exploring the creative side, because in Asia, people are more efficient, right? Like we want to work as many projects as we can. We do overtimes here, and like on the western side of the world, they really value more of the concept building. Like they allot time in conceptualizing a specific design. Unlike here, since we value more of result oriented, like we need to accomplish more projects. So sometimes, in terms of that, the design process is becoming shortened. So unfortunately, sometimes it's so sad because other designers will just copy what is available online. They look at magazines or social media, Instagram, and they just, okay, I want to copy this or this. And like when I was exposed there in Milan, they really think like from your own idea. They're gonna squeeze the creativity in you, and they are really a lot like months in doing the concept design. But in terms of technical, I think that's the strength of Asian people because we are efficient. So I think that's the. I had a project when I was there, so we did like with this big luxury brand, and the challenge is we need to apply our culture. And as a Filipino, it's like let East meets West. So I have to bridge the strength of the two hemispheres of the world. So it's the strength of the Eastern people, and we're very rich in terms of our resources and our crafts, and then applying it into their luxury world, something like that. So that's my like the vision that I'm seeing that we can do as Filipino designers because we have resources. We are very strong in terms of craftsmanship. So I think if we just as designers, if we just really sit down and allot time to really squeeze out our creative juices, we can be at par with these Western designers. So that's the thing that I want to bridge as a designer. That's why the reason what I got as a training in Italy, I want to apply it here and then, showcase it outside. The brand of Filipino, the identity of Filipino design. Because unfortunately outside there's no such thing, people are not aware like, oh, this is Filipino design, and like for others, oh, this is a Balinese design. We don't have that identity. So it's so sad because we have a lot of resources. In our culture, it's very rich. We had a lot of indigenous people, indigenous materials, and yet some designers still choose other culture in terms of doing their designs, applying their designs. There are Filipinos who would rather do European concept,